Once upon a time, among the tall hills and green valleys, there was a temple that was unlike any other. It was called the Silent Temple. It got its strange name from a unique custom. The monks who lived there took a vow of silence. Its people didn't find power in what they said, but in what they didn't say. This was a wisdom that no one else had. Lawrence was a man who lived in a busy city. He was an important person who had risen quickly through the ranks of society. He is a famous man with high status. But all of this material wealth was just a cover for a life that was a mess. The constant noise of the world, and the never-ending chase for success had left him with an inner chaos that he couldn't stop. Lawrence went on a journey when he felt like giving up. He wanted peace, a place to get away from the noise of life. Everyone see him as a powerful and successful man, who could have everything he wants, but what they didn't see is the constant stress the Lawrence has to cope every single day. The rumors of the Silent Temple reached him when he was feeling so fed up with his life, so he decided to go there to find peace. When Lawrence got to the temple, he was surrounded by a deep silence that seemed to come from inside him. A monk gave him a soft nod to let him know he was there without saying anything. Lawrence didn't understand why he didn't say anything when he came in, but it made him curious. The days became weeks, and the weeks became months. The temple's daily schedule was a silent symphony. Every day, the monks would meditate, eat, work, and sleep in silence. Their deeds spoke louder than any words could. At first, Lawrence found the silence too much to handle. He thought his own ideas were getting louder because no one was talking to him. But as time went on, Lawrence began to think about the silence in a different way. It stopped feeling like a void, and started feeling more like a presence, a force that led the monks, gave them peace, and gave them a strange sense of unity. Lawrence began to face his inner fears when he was alone and quiet. He started facing the trouble he had been avoiding for a long time. The chaos within him was now exposed, no longer concealed by the clamor of the outer world. It was uncomfortable, and even frightening. But as each day of silence went by, Lawrence found that he was stronger against the storm inside. One day, while he was meditating, he felt a strange sense of calm come over him. It was a time when he was clear-headed, and no longer worried about the past or the future. He found peace in that moment of silence. From that day on, the man who had come to the Silent Temple with a lot of chaos from the outside world transformed. He welcomed the silence, used it to learn, and used it as a tool to communicate to his inner self. Slowly, his chaotic thoughts calmed down, and were replaced by a deep peace. The silence taught him to listen, to understand, and to grow. When the time came for Lawrence to return to his old life, he carried the silence with him, a precious gem of wisdom. The Silent Temple had taught him that peace is not a place you arrive at, but rather a journey, a constant conversation with yourself in the middle of life's overwhelming chaos. As Lawrence left the Silent Temple, he came to a very important realization. The monks had, in fact, talked to him, but they didn't say anything. They taught a lesson that was more important than any sermon, the power of silence. Our lives are often full of noise, which drowns out our inner voice, and makes it hard to feel at peace with ourselves. In its own strange way, the Silent Temple teaches us that silence is not the absence of sound but the presence of self-awareness, a pathway to our inner selves. It shows that silence can be a safe place, a place to get away from the chaos outside, and help us listen, learn, and grow. In a world that never ceases to make noise, learn to appreciate the power of silence. Because it's in the silence that we really meet ourselves, find peace in the middle of chaos, and learn how to look inside ourselves. Silence holds immense power. It can help us to connect with our inner selves, and find peace even when things are very stressful.